Here we go. I found the sound. Uh, so what is going on? I'm going to wait for that to load. So we're going to hear an echo here in a second, probably. So it's been a long time since I've done a coffee and magic. So I wanted to get on and do one. Oh, there it is. So I wanted to get on and do a video. And really, the whole point of today's video is to really talk about some of the craziness going on in the magic community over the last couple of weeks. Wow. I've been involved in magic for a long time, and I've seen a lot of drama in that time period. I've been part of some drama myself. And it's one, I took a step back a lot from like forums and things because of getting involved in drama and just how toxic magic can be, which is why I'm a big stressor of when you have friends in magic to keep those relationships going and close when you get those true friends that are going to be there for you. But over the last couple of weeks, there's been drama over Noel Coulter's The Fall, with a reviewer that has basically they got the trick and just tore it apart and made it seem like they never even performed it. Which is really funny to me because I saw The Fall and was like, okay, I know how this works. Like, this is a pretty simple method, like, for the most part. But I was like, that's a really cool effect. You can tell by watching the trailer that it can be done pretty well surrounded. And like one of the things he says, it can't be done completely surrounded. And then when you try to clear things up, he said, well, people behind you aren't going to be able to see it. Well, in that case, really no trick can be done completely surrounded, because if I'm doing a Rubik's Cube, someone right behind me can't see me doing the magic with Rubik's Cube. So, anyways, there was a lot of things with his review that was in that realm. And I've been part of my own review controversy last summer, and I get the first response to being going to your own defense. I really do, and that's what I did too. Like, hey, I'm going to call out. I got called out, so I'm going to say, okay, I acknowledge this, and then doubling down, and then eventually succumbing and saying, okay, I'm going to just remove this because this isn't worth my time. Threats and certain comments threatening myself and my family weren't worth keeping around. So I changed that and I got rid of that, and I learned a lot. I wrote a huge post apologizing for the situation, and it seems like this guy, I'm not going to mention like his channel or anything. You can find it if you do any kind of search online, or if you go to Craig Petty's channel, you'll find out about him. But this guy, with every single time he talks in these videos, he just doubles down. And my favorite thing was his excuse was, or one of the things that he mentioned was, I perform for royalty and celebrities, and this wouldn't fly there. It's like, no, you're just, what does that have to do with the price of rice in China? I don't care who you perform for. You could, it doesn't make any difference who your clients are. You're just trying to now stroke your own ego and make yourself look big to people who don't know any better in the magic community, to say, oh yeah, he must know what he's talking about because he performs for royalty. I could go, if I wanted to, I could go get a booking performing for anyone that I want to. Anyone. It doesn't take that much to get into these circles. So weird flex, but okay. But like every time this guy's interviewed, or does a video, or did an interview recently where he goes back and he kind of doubles down on things. Like he'll admit fault in some areas and then he doubles down. And it's just, take it for what it is, learn from your mistake. Like, I don't know. And then, there was something else he said that I thought was really funny, where he mentioned that he's been doing magic for 11 years, or been a working pro for 11 years. And he's been doing magic for like 15 or something like that. And when he says something's intermediate, it means something different than if someone else were to say something's intermediate because of his experience in magic. So what he sees as intermediate, someone might see as really, really hard. And no, that's not how that works unless you have a skewed sense of how things are. Like, I I don't get it. Like, and it's a way of doubling down on his beliefs, which he's allowed to his opinion. If he doesn't like the effect, that's great. You don't have to like everything. I don't like everything. And I truly believe as a reviewer, it's very hard not to project your dislike for something in the full review. That's why I don't do a lot of reviews anymore. And when I do, I have like an Evernote notebook page full of the facts, and I try to stick with that, which makes me feel a lot more robotic when I'm talking about things, but it's kind of a CYA on my aspect because I had gone through this kind of controversy before. And it's not fun. And I get that it's a defense mechanism to say, no, I'm going to double down, but you don't have to do that. Admit your fault, move on. The next controversy that's been going around has been this controversy with Edie Seats from Craig Petty. And the craziness with all of this. And I don't know much about Craig's previous issue with Red, so I'm not going to get into that. He has talked, if you want to know more about that issue, that controversy, go to his YouTube channel. He's talked about it a ton. I don't think he wants to talk about it anymore, and I get it. But this thing with EDC or Edie Seats has just kind of like, it blew up out of nowhere. I'm sure it'd been brewing for a little bit, but like, I remember, it must have been Wednesday, I saw Murphy's had a new from Craig Petty, Edie Seats, and I'm like, oh, this must be the thing that he's been teasing for a while. And then, next thing I know, like, there's just all this craziness going on around it. And then he made a video talking about the same two people that attacked him over Red, which he admitted, fault to, and pulled everything, are going after him for this, and you don't want this to be the same situation, blah blah. Again, he's made a video. You go check that out. I'm not going to tell his side of the story. I'll let him tell it. It is a 51-minute long video, but it's better to hear it out of his mouth than mine. But anyways, go to the Magic Cafe. It turns out that people know who these people are, and they get called out right from the get-go. And then it's like damage control from them, because then they're getting called out for their fake usernames on the Magic Cafe. And it's all over. This seems like it's all over a trick that was put out. So in 2012, there was a Matrix effect with receipts that was published in Genie. And then if you wrote in, you could join like this super secret club, and you could get some more routines. With that, we don't have any number of how much that went out, but if it's an underground thing, a lot of times in crediting those things don't get picked up because it's an underground It's an underground release. It's like if I were to release my lecture notes and send it to 100 people and say, okay, here's my lecture notes. Like anything that's mine that gets ripped off or independently created by someone else, I mean, only 100 people seen it. It wasn't a wide release. It was just lecture notes. It wasn't anything that I put in any kind of project. I wouldn't expect too much from it. And if it would have been different, or if this trick would have actually been published in Genie, that's a totally different story. But it was a different trick, and then you had to write in to get this, or be part of the super secret group already to get these releases. And that's where all of this controversy is stemming from. Is saying like, hey, this is mine, or I released something similar a decade ago, and it's not. I don't. It's one of those things where like someone's over at this point. Someone's trying to claim the principle. It feels like, and when you start getting to those levels, you start crippling magic. And this is someone that's um, well known. Well, both of these people are well known in the magic community. Very, very well known and giants in the magic community. And both of them, I've heard rumors in the past that were kind of bullies. So I'm not surprised when it came out who it was. I was like, oh, it's not a surprise. I'm not going to discuss that. Not my place, but it's on the Magic Cafe if you look up Edie Seats by Craig Petty. But yeah, I mean, it's insane what's been going on. It's like I've got False Recollections coming out rather soon. I'm filming the instructions probably sometime this weekend. I already have written instructions done. I've got the product out to a couple of people who are going to get me some performance footage. So like things are starting to this is getting closer to release, and I've been up front, even when I originally released it back in 2007, 2008, that this is taken from and based off of a trick published in the Jinx back in 1910. I'm adding my handling, I'm improving on the method, I'm providing some gaffes. But when you start nitpicking, saying, oh, you can't do that, then we stop seeing improvements in things. Can you imagine if Ambitious Card was still what it was when it was first created? And we didn't improve upon it, and people didn't release things. We wouldn't have Daryl's Ambitious Card routine. We wouldn't have anything new. It would just be the basics. And then it was like, this is it. This is good enough. We'd still have people cuffing with coins. We'd still be doing Miser's Dream with giant pails instead of adapting it for different situations and having smaller versions. And it just, I don't know. The drama in Magic's always been there, and it just drives me nuts how it keeps going, and people keep feeding it, and people want to pick sides, which I get. And if you've watched my channel before, you've heard me say that I'm not the biggest fan of Craig Petty. But I fully support him in this. I already pre-ordered this trick. I'm probably going to pre-order of the UK version too. Because it looks like a solid effect. And there's 6 hours of tutorial. So you're telling, this goes back to I released this back in this private newsletter back in 2012. But you release one routine, and this includes a ton of routines along with stuff from Pete Turner, Lloyd Barnes, Javier. I'm not going to say his last name because I'm going to mess it up. But you got all these people who are contributing routines to it. So it goes beyond what you've done. And you're throwing a fit about it. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, I mean, It's crazy. The magic world is crazy. It always has been. Um, that's why I stick to the people I know. And when I meet new people, I kind of go in a little bit cautiously. I like to share my knowledge of things, and to the two bullies, you guys haven't released anything in a long time, and the amount of people that I'm seeing who don't know who you are, you're not as big as you think you are anymore. My generation, yeah, we looked up to guys like you, even when we heard the stuff. Generations before me looked up to you for the stuff that you put out because you had an incredible way of thinking. But there's a whole generation or two that don't know anything about you at all. They don't know your work. They don't know what you've put out. They don't know what's been published. So remember that when you think that you're still a big dog. Because we got a lot of new big dogs now. It's the nature of the beast. And, what you have, the stuff that you put out, obviously isn't considered classics because people don't know who you are. And I'll admit you had some great stuff. You had some great stuff coming out, but it's not. You're not known anymore, and that's going to affect you. And also stop using fake names on the Magic Cafe. It's sad. That's what trolls do, and you're embarrassed for it to get back, come out of what you are, and that's why you're doubling down so bad that it's not you. Even though it's been confirmed by several people that they know that's you, and even an old post where you even basically say that it's you. But anyways, that's all I'm going to do for today's video. I got to jet out. I've got a road trip down to southern Missouri today, so I'm going to jet out, and maybe we'll do this again next week. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. Do a coffee and magic in the afternoon. I don't know. We'll see how I'm feeling. Since it's been a while, but I do have to record the tutorial for False Recollections and get that done because it's long overdue, and with this coming closer and closer to being a release, it needs to be done sooner than later because I know people hate written instructions now. So yeah, but thank you for tuning in live. Thank you for watching the replay. Um, if you have any opinions on what's going on, I'd love to hear them down in the comments. Um, I'd love to hear what stories you have from some crazy magic chaos happening in the past. And yeah, so everyone have a great weekend, and we will see you soon. And I'll have probably a new video posting later this coming week. Peace.